Welcome to Fabulous Women Over 40, hosted by celebrity stylist Kara Allan. Join Kara as she interviews amazing women, sometimes younger and amazing men as well, in their 40s and beyond. Here's Kara with our Fabulous Woman of the Day.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another inspiring episode of Fabulous Women Over 40 podcast. I'm your host, Kara Allan, personal stylist and branding expert with over 20 years experience in helping women and men create powerful presences through their appearance. This podcast is dedicated to celebrating the incredible people over 40 or under 40 sometimes who are redefining what it means to be fabulous at any age. My guest today is Eileen McDargh. She is the dynamic CEO of the Resiliency Group. Since 1980, she's been transforming lives and businesses with her powerful blend of impactful conversations and meaningful connections. Eileen is celebrated as a master facilitator, award-winning author, and internationally acclaimed keynoter and executive coach. Her unique approach draws from practical business insights, rich life experiences, and decades of consulting for major organizations worldwide, from global pharmaceuticals to the U.S. Armed Forces, healthcare associations, and religious institutions. Her programs are renowned for being content-rich, interactive, provocative, and often downright hilarious. In 2021, Global Googoo International ranked her as number 3 among the world's top 30 communication professionals, following a global survey of 22,000 business experts. Eileen has authored 6 books, with her 7th, Burnout to Breakthrough, Building Resilience to Refuel, Recharge, and Reclaim What Matters, published by Barrett Kohler Publishers in 2020. Please help me welcome Eileen. Hey, how are you doing today?
Good. Hey, and if I'm on this side of the ground, it's really good.
Exactly. I always say that if you're not taking a dirt nap, you're off to a good start.
There you go.
How's life out in California today?
Well, let's see. It's a little overcast. I'm at the beach. I can see birds at my 3 different bird feeders, 3 different kinds of birds. I can't quite see the ocean yet because of there's fog, but other than that, it's just fine.
That's fantastic. Well, I was so excited to be able to interview you because all the accolades I heard, and the fact that you were just funny and provocative, I was like, oh, we're going to have a great conversation.
Yes.
So please tell me a little bit about where you grew up. Like, what was your family life like? Do you have siblings? Give me all the deets on that.
Let's see. Well, we were all born in Denver, Colorado. Okay. Air Force family. Dad got out of the Air Force. We moved to Atlanta, Georgia. We lived in Atlanta, Georgia until I was in 6th grade. I have a twin brother. Okay. So there were 2 of us. And then my younger sister, 3 years younger, then moved to Jacksonville, Florida, and then Fort Lauderdale. And that's really, in Florida was where I spent most of my life. I went to the University of Florida. My twin brother went up to Emory there in Atlanta. And then I was a teacher at a rural community at the Florida-Georgia border, which was really a wonderful experience.
Nice.
It was wonderful. I loved my kids. And I was married at the time. And this was back during the Vietnam War. And my husband got a deferment if he taught in an underprivileged school, an area. And he got that deferment. So anyway, bottom line was that I taught school. I taught for 4 years. Did not come with a teaching credential, but I earned it in the classroom. Nice. And I just, my kids are great. And for many of them, the only book, if they had a book in the house, was a Bible.
Oh, wow.
Or the Cattleman's Journal, perchance. And so as an English teacher, part of my job as an English teacher, what I saw was to open the world to them. And I would read something to them every Friday.
Nice.
It was everything from Rikki Tikki Tavi, Rudyard Kipling's with the mongoose, and I could do voices. Rikki Tavi, but it got the kids interested. Yeah. And then on alternate Fridays, this was my 7th and 8th graders, I had classic comics. Do you remember classic comics? They were comic books that were about the classics. So it would be like The Hunchback of Notre Dame, The Three Years, all of them, but they were comic book songs. And
Interesting.
my kids, even though they might not have read The Hunchback of Notre Dame, they knew who Quasimodo was.
Oh, nice.
It was great because it opened the world to them.
Yes.
And then I went on to be director of marketing for Amelia Island. At that time, it was called Amelia Island Plantation. Got a divorce, moved out to California, and married my fabulous husband. And we've been married for 44 years.
Oh my God, congratulations.
Because I'm only 22. I don't know.
That's awesome.
I worked for 2 years, two different companies, doing corporate communications, marketing, PR.
Okay.
And by the second year, I thought, if I write another press release, I will throw up.
No, that's right.
I quit. And people would say, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. But I know what I don't want to do.
Right. Well, that's half the battle, right?
It really is. And that's what really started me on this journey of saying, where is it? Where is it that I can contribute the most?
Yeah.
And within 2 months, another colleague out here in California asked me if I would create a program for the community college for returning adults on how to write a business plan. I said, well, sure, I can do that. Well, I had forgotten how much I loved to teach.
Oh.
So I did another program for the community college and another program. And the Steel Service Center Institute out of Cleveland, Ohio, got a copy of the course catalog through a meeting planner in Palm Desert.
Nice.
And the meeting planner called me and said, my client is bringing his senior executives into the desert. They want to know, would you come and do your program, but only in an hour, The Art of Persuasion.
Ooh.
Sure. This is like early 80s, right?
I love it.
And then she said, how much will you charge? $750. I said, I'll call you back. About a couple of days later, she called back and she said, you're hired. I'm going, yes.
Nice.
I mean, $750 for I've got a whole lot of work. Goodness knows how many hours in it, but thank you, God. Thank you.
Right.
And so I had enough sense to know that I needed to talk to the executive director of the Steel Service Center Institute. And in the conversation, he said, and we'll mail you your check for $1,500. Oh, $1,500? What's the matter? I said, oh, no. I know. I just, thank you very much.
Right.
And I called the meeting planner in the desert. And I said, what's going on? And she said, Eileen, we always mark up outside vendors. Oh, well, I learned two things there, Cara. Number one, no one is ever going to say what I'm worth other than me.
True.
Number two, they were willing to pay $1,500. Go, whoa, this is big. This could be real.
Yeah,
and it was really wonderful because they went on. They must have brought me back a couple more times. And then they gave my name to the Copper and Brass Institute who did this and blah. And before long, if the universe says, oh, hello, you need to do this. Okay, I'll listen.
Right.
And that's really what started me on the trajectory. That's actually where I wrote my first book, because people said, how did you do that? How did you get up enough courage to leave this organization?
Right.
And that's when I wrote, my first book was called Work for a Living and Still Be Free to Live.
Nice.
And that just started the kind of the whole journey.
What year was this?
Oh, it would have been like 1984.
Okay.
1984. Yeah.
1984.
Yeah.
And so your first speech was around the same time, was 1984?
Probably a little bit before that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I spoke for the Rotary Club. I spoke for Kiwanis. I spoke for the Chamber of Commerce. Anything that allowed you to have both a platform as well as practice, practice your skill.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of training. And then once I hit the keynote spot, that was just so much fun because, you have, anywhere from 45 minutes to 90 and you can interaction, you can tell story, but people have to walk away with value.
Yes.
It's not just listen to me. No. This is not about me. This is all about you and you finding value. And so what matters most to me is when people say, I took these notes and this helped me. And then there was, can I tell you one really special story?
Of course.
So I was speaking at the convention center in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the stories that I used to tell was of a colleague who was he was from Britain, and he was a biologist and a cinematographer, and he did a special for PBS. And one of the things I heard John, that was his name, he said that the chances of a human egg. How did he phrase it? He said, there's a woman in New Jersey won the New Jersey lottery, not once, but twice.
Oh, wow.
That's wonderful. Why are you telling me?
This is good, but two?
Said, do you know what are the odds of a woman winning the New Jersey lottery twice? I said, no, probably the same as for a man. I don't know. And he said, 17 trillion to 1. Wow.
Oh, my God.
And I said, John.
Ellie, keep talking. Hold on one second. Somebody's at my door.
Okay. So I said, and we'll wait for you to come back because I don't want to miss you. So I said, John, why are you telling me this? Remember now, he's a biologist, a cinematographer. He said, Eileen, do you know what are the odds of a human egg being fertilized? 224 trillion to 1.
Wow.
You are not a mistake.
No.
And so when I shared that with this group that was at the convention center in New Orleans, this woman came up afterwards, handed me a folded up piece of paper and said, please do not read this until you get on the plane to go home. Okay. Put it in my briefcase. I'm sitting on the plane and I opened up. And here's what she said. She was planning to kill herself.
Oh my God. Until
she heard that number. And she said, I guess I'm really meant to be here.
Yeah, she won the lottery. Right?
I tell you what, that made, thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was.
Really. I've heard Oprah say that in one of her things too, like what the odds of us being here, from that little sperm and that little egg getting together is amazing. And it's no accident. Like you said, there's no accident.
We're not here by accident.
Yeah. So you said you were a twin. Now, who was older, and were you fraternal or identical?
That's so funny. I have my twin brother. His name's John.
Okay.
And he's 6 minutes older. And what I always have to laugh when people find out I have a twin brother, the first thing they say is, do you look alike? No, I shave every other day. No, if I look like my brother, one of us is in trouble.
Right.
So he's 6 minutes older. And I also say I'm 5'1", I'm short.
Yes.
But I'm on a stage, and lots of people who are big, they can get one, they can walk in the audience. I'm a disembodied voice. Mm-hmm. And I say, I come by this genetically. I have a twin brother, and half of me is a professor at Boston College. That's
cool. Yeah.
That's why I'm short.
Is he tall?
No.
I'm
5'1". He's about 5, maybe 7 or 8.
Okay, well, he's a little taller, but
he's a little taller, and he's just brilliant and smart and fabulous. In fact, my sister and I are going back the end of this week to see my brother at Provincetown on the Cape.
Yeah,
we haven't seen him. We tried to do a sibling-only weekend about a week about 2.5 years ago, and COVID hit. He got off the plane with COVID. My sister got it. I was the nurse because I had it before.
Oh, gosh.
So we never got to have fun. So now we're going to go back to have fun.
That sounds so cool. Well, yeah, because how long has it been since you've seen him, you said?
Almost. Well, it's at least 2.5.
2.5 years. Okay. Yeah, I mean, when you're close, that's hard because, my siblings all live in the same area, so we see each other decently regularly. So, yeah, that would be kind of hard not to see them.
No, you think about it. Susan's up in LA. I'm down in Orange County. So we're really a continent apart.
Yeah, because that is kind of far.
Yeah.
Do you think that your teaching gave you a preclusion for being a great speaker?
Yes. Because I wasn't trained as a teacher.
Yeah.
You had to use your instincts as a teacher.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things I discovered was that when I could create a learning along with a story, kids got it. if I could create an activity along with the teaching. In fact, I can remember my 7th graders. This is so funny. My 7th graders, you had to learn. One of the things I taught was English grammar, which is hard to learn at the best of times. And I'm in a rural community where oftentimes we ain't got none and can I hold your pencil and that kind of stuff. So in order to use the right pronouns, particularly, you had to know what was a he, she, it, and then what happened if it came at the end of a preposition. But there's no way you can learn prepositions. You have to memorize them. So I taught them hand jive, about, above, across, after, against, among, mind. So they were hand jiving as they learned the prepositions.
Oh,
And
cool.
They got
yeah, because they like
it was the activity about, above, across, after. I mean, I can still say the prepositions, and I don't know why I do that. The other thing, for vocabulary, so many of the words that we use in English come from Greek and Roman mythology. So when I told them that Poseidon was the god of the sea in that mythology, I said, where do you think a Poseidon missile is launched from? The sea.
Yeah.
So when you could tie in some stories with that, they got it and they remembered it. And I think it is in telling stories, both real and like Poseidon is made up, but people remember. So I think that helped. I also had, one really excellent teacher when I was in high school, and I still used the books that I used, the papers that I wrote when I was in high school, when I taught the 8th grade English class at that rural community. There was value in that.
Nice. So that's been really rewarding for you. I mean, the teaching and then even being able to speak. And I'm sure you have thousands of stories of people that come up to you afterward that so appreciated it, whatever you had to say, especially that woman,
Oh, that was just, that just blew me away. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you just never know what you're going to say as to how it's going to impact people, like who's listening and how it's going to impact them.
In fact, when I moved from Florida all the way to California, one of my former students was going to go to school at UCLA and found me in this Laguna Beach, small little town. And he found me and he said, I just wanted to thank you for being my teacher. And that helped me because he had to take, I can't remember whether it was the LSATs, the entrance exam to go to law school. But he said, things that you taught me about language has helped me so much. And I just wanted to say thank you.
That's so great. Like, really great.
It is. But, Kara, it's not about me. It's really, I'm merely a conduit.
Right.
I do know that my why, my purpose here is contribution. If I can't make a contribution, then I don't feel needed.
Yeah.
Contribution, I might never know some of the things that are contributions. I would not know.
Yeah.
I didn't know until that young man came back to see me. I would never have known about what that woman gave me on that piece of paper.
Right.
But it's my intention, and intention precedes action.
Yeah.
We might not know, as long as I have that intention, I will act, not knowing, but saying the prayer, the blessing, that my contribution will make a matter of some. Now, do you get everybody? No, of course not.
Yeah.
Matter.
Yeah.
But remember
one, that's good.
You know what? And somebody came up to me, and she said something like, "This is what she got," and there was somebody, and I said, "Well, then I came for you."
Right.
She said,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, especially if they feel compelled to come and tell you, then that really made an impact.
And oftentimes, just because of the way the conference is going, or the next meeting that the company is going to have, or they can't do that. That's okay.
Yeah. So when you were young, what was your personality like? Were you chatty then, or did you love to learn? Like how were you growing up?
I know I always loved to learn. I was also the runt of the litter.
Oh,
I always was. I was always the
yeah.
rock of the litter. And before we moved from Georgia down to Florida,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of fit in. But
Yeah.
when we moved to Florida, I don't know why, whether it's in the water there, but everybody was bigger. I mean, really bigger. And the women were really bigger. And I say
Oh,
women
wow.
because, oh my God, they wore bras. I'm in sixth grade. They're wearing bras. Oh dear. I wasn't, why? And so you kind
Yeah.
of felt like you were the odd person out.
Yeah.
And we had been at a parochial school in Georgia, and it was run very strictly. So if you
Mm,
wanted to say something, you raised your hand. If you wanted to participate, you raised your hand. Everybody
right.
raised their hand.
Mm-hmm.
The first week or two that my twin brother and I were in this classroom and we wanted to answer, we raised our hand. Everybody looked at us like, who are they? Oh my goodness. They don't fit in. So
Everybody's clutching their pearls.
it was really hard. And then thank God we moved down to Fort Lauderdale and
Mm,
nobody knew us. And this was to start our high school, freshman year of high school. And
yeah.
then, and that helped. That helped a lot also because the way it was, the girls were on one side and the boys were on the other. And that also
Mm-hmm.
helped actually having them be divided.
Okay.
So there wasn't that, that boy girl competition and I like that boy and you can't like that boy and all that other kind of stuff. Anyway, um,
Right.
that helped. Was I chatty? I was very quiet because I didn't know how I would be received. I see
Mm-hmm.
pictures of me when I'm in element, and I've always got this like devilish grin and ha ha ha. I like to laugh, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's got me in trouble. So I was I learned to be quiet. What I did learn was when I was in high school. Because I just kind of shoved. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to get in trouble because it wasn't really good when we were in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
Was that a teacher came to me and said, "I want you staying after school." Why? What did what did I do wrong? She said, "No, I want you on the debate team."
Oh.
Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. But you do not say no to Sister John Margaret.
Oh. Okay.
And so she got me. Because of her, I got on the debate team,
Oh,
which
nice.
ended up that we went to the national debate finals and
Mm-hmm.
placed 10th in the nation. But that brought me out along with extemporaneous speaking, oral
Mm-hmm.
interpretation. So using language and my voice really goes back to this one nun who said,
Yeah.
"I'm going to go do this."
Right.
And that just helped immensely.
Huh. Yeah. I think that would get you ready. Everything was getting you ready, and
You know
even
what?
being
When
your
you think about it, when you go back at your life and you look at certain things, what thing
yeah.
happened to you that you say, "I didn't know it then, but it got
Yeah.
me ready for this"?
Mm-hmm.
What happened in your life?
So many things. Well, similar to you, I wasn't in. My parents weren't in the military, but my dad got this idea to build a house in Fairfax Station where they still live now. And at the time I went to Lake Braddock High School. And so, but in waiting for that house to get built, he bought another house in Alexandria. So picture going to this Lake Braddock school, which was upper echelon, like the kids drove their parents' Porsches to school kind of thing. And then across the county to Alexandria, where everybody was on the bus or had a hoopty, and then I ended up at Hayfield, which kind of a mix of both. So at the time, it was terrible because like I'm always the new kid, and all the women think that I want their boyfriends, and I'm like, I'm just trying to survive. I don't know what's happening. Like, and moving in high school was the worst,
Oh
because
yeah,
you're always the new kid. It was horrible, but at the time, that's what I thought. But now I know I can interact with any person anywhere because of those environments. So yeah, I wouldn't have thought it would be great later because it was terrible at the time. But same with your military. Like I would think your father was military, right?
yeah. Well, Mom,
Yeah.
since you are in the goddess circle, you you would appreciate the fact that my mom was an incredible woman. She was one
Nice.
of 3 women in med school in the 30s.
Oh wow.
She flew for the military in World War II. She was
Wow.
the Women's Air Force Service pilot, a WASP. There
Oh
were
my goodness.
1,176 for them who did all the domestic military flying during World War II,
Gosh.
because all the other male pilots flew combat missions in the European and Pacific theaters. Well,
Wow.
mom was an amazing woman. So yes, she was in the service. Now dad continued, because once they were disbanded, women were literally, they even though they'd been promised, Congress decided no, women don't belong. They don't belong flying planes. So
Mm.
go find your own way home.
Oh goodness.
Really,
That's not nice.
it's quite a story.
Yeah.
But
I met a lady recently that was in the Air Force. That's interesting. Is your mom still with us?
no, she
Yeah.
died 12 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you know what? It's so funny. I brought her from Florida to California to live with me for her last 6 years.
Oh, okay.
And I'd have her in the wheelchair and I'd push her out to my patio.
Yeah.
And as she would hear a plane, she'd look up and she'd go, "Lucky stiff."
I love that. Yeah, that's yeah. So, but you moving around so much, I think that would give you an opportunity to interact with different types of people too, you know?
I did. I mean, Dad got out of the service right soon after we were born. And then we still moved a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much as if you were still in the service. I have friends who never completed the same high school.
Oh,
They
man.
go like this.
Yeah.
But
A little traumatic. Just
yeah.
saying.
Now, what's interesting, you either become very adept at making plans or
Yeah.
you're a loner.
Yeah.
And I have one friend he was an only child, which doesn't help, with his dad in the military. And he's pretty much a loner.
Yeah. Yeah, because it can be tough. I mean, and kids aren't the nicest, let's just say.
No. And nowadays, we need to somehow get back to our sense of humanity and compassion. And
True.
we're all in this together.
Yeah. Yeah, because social media creates a lot of keyboard bullies and people, the things that people say online, you know, they would never say that to anybody's face. Not, not unless you wanted
and
to
I
be
really
smacked.
think, we need parents to sit down and be a parent.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you saw, and actually I think this happened in New York. Some of the middle schoolers went on TikTok and created these horrible stories, all made up, but took pictures of their teachers, implying that the teachers were everything from promiscuous to going after kids to the things that they would, all lies.
Oh my God.
Posted it on TikTok.
That's crazy.
No, it's horrible. I mean, what is it that has given that generation permission to totally destroy someone with lies?
Yeah.
There's too many lies that are going on right now. We don't need it.
Well, I think our culture in general kind of, I don't know. I would say it was, we didn't have social media, right? But we had the news. And so the news has been somewhat of a thing of like, is this true? Is this not true? Whatever. So I think kids growing up in the social media era gives them a different thing of reality because they see people who look like they have it all and they really don't. They're renting cars, they're renting houses, they're doing all this stuff, these influencers or whatever you want to call them. And it just gives people permission to be crazy or think that everything is microwavable. You're going to get it in a minute just because you want it. It doesn't work like that.
That's true. Well, and of course, now there's deep fakes. I have a colleague, that is his work now. He is called to testify. Is this real or is it not real? You look at the video and you swear it is you,
right?
It's not you. It's a deep fake. And he can identify that, which is kind of scary.
Yeah. And AI isn't helping.
No.
Say. I mean, it helps in some instances, but not in others where, somebody's voice can be now recreated and saying things that they didn't say. That's insane.
That's right. I mean, they can even have dogs and cats talking, it looks like they're doing it. How they do that? I don't know.
Like, where are we in an alternate reality now? Like, what's happening? It's very strange, but well, hopefully we will navigate our way through all of that. I don't know. But so what are you doing now? Are you still writing and you still speaking, or like what's happening in your life right now?
Well, I have to say the pandemic really hit all of us hard.
Yeah.
So being able to go out and speak to people in person.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So I've been doing more virtual presentations.
Right.
Like I had a virtual presentation in May. It was wonderful. It was for a global audience. To get the whole globe, I spoke at 9:00 at night, so we get the Asia Pacific, and then 7 a.m. the next morning, so we could do the U.S. and the rest of Europe.
Oh, wow.
But it's not as busy as it was. There's something about understanding that as we age, I'm not elderly.
Right.
I am a modern elder.
A modern.
You know what the difference is?
I didn't hear the last part.
I'm a modern elder.
Modern elder. Okay.
So what that means for me, this is what this means for me, is, we used to think that old age was like 45. It's all changed, and now it's moving up.
Right.
While chronologically, I could say I'm aging, but a modern elder is sitting back and realizing I have wisdom to share. And it's in that sharing of the wisdom that I can help these other generations, because you come with a different perspective.
Yes.
The other thing is that younger generation has things to teach me.
That's true too.
If I wish to learn that. So it's that now where I am right now is I'm looking, I'm listening. I say, what is the next place? Where is it that I belong now? I mean, when I was really busy, honestly, I was gone so much. I was just gone. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
But now I realize, you know what? I have this precious husband.
Yes.
That I don't want to miss any time with.
Right.
I have grandchildren, even though it's different parts of the continent. I want to spend time with them, and I want to learn new things. One of my goals is I must do something new, at least one thing every month that I've never done before.
I love that.
And I'll tell you what, it's a great practice. And I keep, what did I do that's a first? What did I do that's a first? And it could be everything from taking a Pilates class to going to eat at the Mexican restaurant that's been here for 50 years. We've never gone. Wait a minute. Let's go to that, which we did. You think I'm kidding? We did that last night. We're going to try that one. So I keep challenging myself to do stuff I've never done before.
I love that.
What happens is when you write it down at the end of a month, when we say, God, where did the time go? I could tell you where the time went.
Yeah, that's true. Then you can have a record of all the things that you did. I like that idea.
Both brand new and just things that and so you're going to be in my monthly journal. What have I never done before? I've never gotten to talk with this amazing woman, Kara.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So what advice would you give to somebody who wanted to be a speaker or a teacher or, anything in that element?
Well, for one thing, you better have something to say.
I love that, right?
It isn't. And ChatGPT and AI is not going to create it for you. It's not created for you.
It might fancy it up for you, but it's not going to create it for you.
It's not you. Yeah. So I do believe you walk before you run. So if someone thinks they want to be a speaker, first off, what gives you, this was a good question, what gives you the right to talk about that?
Yeah.
I can't talk about climbing in the Himalayas. Never did it. So what gives you the right? And why do you want to do it? I think sometimes people look at people who are speakers and it appears glamorous. It is not glamorous.
Yeah.
It's so much hard work.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that when you are the speaker, let me backtrack. I could sell a car, and if you don't want my car, you didn't reject me.
Right.
If I spoke and you didn't like it, I got rejected.
Yeah.
So you have to have a pretty good sense of self-confidence. And the other thing, which is one of the things that I do, is you get help. You don't just think you can wing this on your own. Get people
Yeah.
who have been there, done that,
Right.
black t-shirt to give you some advice and be willing to take the advice. So it's
Yes.
interesting. I had someone who hired me to coach her,
Yeah.
but she didn't like what I said. Well, you know what? If you're going to take a coach, you take a coach, listen to what they say, but to discount something straight out, that's not going to work.
No.
So that would be my thought. And also, like I said, this is a really hard business. You don't just jump into it and you're busy the whole time. So one of the things that writing does is right, and it's one of the reasons I've always written, is to clarify my own thinking. When I write, I go, oh, yeah, that's true. Well, how can I make that clearer? So I think writing and speaking are sides of the same coin.
Yes.
If they can be that way.
That's true. Because, again, you do have to have something to say and not making it up, not pulling it out of the air. It's like, what experience have you had? What training have you had? Like, where have you been? What have you done in life? And I think those are all good questions to think. Because somebody wants what you have.
Yeah, and like I said, it's become more and more competitive.
Yeah.
More competitive. There are quite a number of people who, because of the times and the COVID or whatever, they lost their job. So what they thought is, well, I'll just be a speaker. Looks like fun. I'll just go out and do that. And, I'll make money. I don't have to make that much, but, because I got a good severance package, but I can go do this.
Yeah.
Just check your ego at the door.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Because you never know how people are going to receive you. And
no.
Yes, it's good to do some research about who you're speaking to, but that you still just don't never know. And your sense of humor might not translate.
Well, and you know what? You're not going to win everybody either. This isn't.
Some people are determined not to like you no matter what.
But it's at the end of the day, do you feel that you did good work? And for me, at the end of whatever I've done, does it bring joy to my heart?
Right.
If there's no joy, I don't want to do it.
Yes. If it ain't fun, you're not doing it. No. That's been my motto for a long time.
No. And it can be hard. It doesn't have to be fun.
Yeah.
But it fills my heart. And if it doesn't, I've fired clients before. I said,
and that's good.
I don't think I'm right for you. Let's see if we can do someone else. It just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you have to go with that feeling.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Because if it's telling you that, then there's a reason. I think sometimes we look at it, especially if it's paying well or whatever, or it's something you were kind of aspiring to do. When it comes, you're like, oh, yes. But then if you get that little, like you said, that little voice, it's like, but maybe not. Maybe not. There's something better. Something better's coming, and this just doesn't. Because if I've had so many times where I didn't listen to that little voice, and it was like, whoa, okay, nothing devastating necessarily happened, but it was still like, wow, I should have just left that. It wasn't great, and I'm learning more now to just when the little voice comes, okay, listen, listen, Linda, listen.
Yeah,
so it is what it is. But so tell me, are there any books you're reading now or shows you're watching that are making an impact for you?
Oh, that's a really good question. I just read, in fact, I'll tell you what it was, and I thought it was fascinating. I put it out for my daughter. It's called Soulbatical. SOUL.
Soulbatical.
BATT, like a sabbatical.
Yeah.
Soul. And I have to read this. The author's name is Shelley, SHELLEY, Paxton, PAXTON.
Okay.
She left Harley Davidson in the most senior position a woman that could have held. She was like the director of marketing. I mean, she climbed the ladder. She did everything. And finally, she said, this isn't right. And I think her book is good. And I think it asks really good, reflective questions. She's a little, can be a little in your face, but she's really honest. And I really enjoyed her book. There's
Nice.
another one. I'm turning back here to look at my shelf. It's called Learning to Love Midlife.
Okay.
By Chip Conley.
Okay.
Conley. And Chip created the Modern Elder Academy, which we call MEA. And there's some really good questions and things to ponder. And since your show is, 40 and above, where are you going?
Right.
Love Midlife is a good one for that.
Okay.
Both would be sabbatical. And I'm looking back here to see what other things I have here that I'm working on. Well, obviously, I love Burnout to Breakthrough because I think,
of course.
But it's an easy read, which is I try to write easy,
okay,
but astute.
Right.
So I think my book, Burnout to Breakthrough.
And you can get that on Amazon.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. Okay. You can go to my website and you can get it.
Okay.
Everything's available on Amazon.
Yeah. I remember when Amazon was just books. Nothing else. Just books.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And now you told me I can get castor oil on Amazon.
Yeah. You can get a house, a tiny house on Amazon if you want to. It's crazy.
Crazy.
Because it's just drop shipping now, basically, is all it is. They're pulling from other suppliers, but people don't think of it that way. They don't have all that stuff in storage somewhere. So, everything. I love it. So what 5 words would you use to describe yourself today?
Oh, geez. Couldn't I have that in advance to think about it? 5 words. All right, let me think about this. I'm just going to, 5 words. Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
Adventurer.
Yes.
Humanitarian.
Mm-hmm.
Teacher.
Yeah.
Lover.
I love that. It gives you something to think about, right?
I'm going to have to listen to this again. I have to listen to it.
Yeah. Explorer, teacher, lover, adventurer.
Yeah.
And the other one I forgot.
I said explorer.
I was going to say dynamic, but yeah.
Well, I was thinking in terms of nouns.
Yeah.
Not in terms
Well, I would say that too. You're a very dynamic energy and person, so that comes across.
Yeah.
So
I am. It's true.
I always have people ask, well, in my stylist life, I have people ask that of themselves and then ask 2 other people, or more, like one that might know you really well, one that doesn't know you very well, to see if the answers are sort of cohesive, if you get similar responses. And that way, you're giving out you're giving out what you think you're giving.
Very good exercise.
You know what I mean? Maybe, and if you get something back you don't like, then it's like, okay, well, maybe that's where I need to work on something.
Good exercise. Good exercise.
Yeah, I do like that a lot. So where can everybody find you? And do you have anything going on right now that we can support you on, like your book? We talked about that, but anything else?
But, buying the books is great.
Yeah.
That always helps.
Yeah.
It really does. If you can spell my name, you can find me.
Yeah.
I am not on TikTok.
Yeah.
Find me. I have a Facebook page. You can go to my website. There's all kinds of stuff on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Each month I do an e-zine called the Resiliency Report.
Okay.
Everything's free. It's free.
Nice.
I blog twice a month.
Okay.
Also on my website. So, and you will not find, as far as I know, you will not find another Eileen McDargh in the universe. My grandmother died, and as far as we know, I'm it. That's it. If you find another one, let me know. I think.
Right.
I think you can spell my name. You can find me.
Okay.
And I think the other one, and I say this to anyone in your audience who is here in the United States, honor this country, honor this democracy.
Yeah.
Keep this democracy and vote.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, I feel like if you honor yourself, then you automatically honor others. You know, if you love yourself to the most degree that you can, not an ego love, but like, you know, that you
Not a
love and accept
narcissistic,
yourself.
not a narcissistic love.
Yeah, exactly. Because everyone has a little bit of that narcissisticness, right? We all do. But it's when it gets too much is a problem. But for the most part, if you love yourself, then you're able to have compassion for other people. If you don't, that's what you need to work on.
Well,
If we had more people loving themselves, there'd be less of all the crazy that's going on.
That could be.
You know, because if you wouldn't want to do that to somebody else, you wouldn't want that done to you, so you wouldn't do it to somebody else.
Right.
That's how I feel about it anyway.
Right.
Let's just say. Okay, so my last question for you is, what legacy do you want to leave the world?
Oh, geez, these are hard questions. What legacy? What legacy?
Mm-hmm. When you're gone and you want people
Good old what's her name was here. What's
Yes.
her name do?
What do you want people to remember most about you and how you were able to impact the world? How would the world be better because you were in it? Maybe that's a different way of asking.
That's really a hard question. It's one that, you know, I said I was listening and I'm thinking, you know,
Yeah.
what is it that I want? I think what I'd like to leave behind
Mm-hmm.
is that people felt heard, understood, and
Mm-hmm.
served.
Yes.
And in my presence, felt a sense of happiness and joy.
That's fabulous.
That's what
I love that.
Did you take notes? I got to remember this.
It is recorded, so it'll be in the show notes too. So you'll have it when we post everything. So.
Okay.
I love that, Eileen, and you're such a fabulous guest.
Oh, thank you. My
we'll
treasure.
We'll have to have you back at some point to just tell us what's going on and what adventures you're finding in the world and what else you've learned that can impact us some more, because you really did give us some good gems.
Well, I'm going to keep looking and learning.
Yes, and that's important. You know, I think if we spend more time not just consuming but listening and and observing, because we've become a consumption society, and so it's like, how about just reflect for a while? How about just kind of see what's happening, look at the flowers, take it in, breathe, and then see what happens.
I think you're spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. Thank you so much. It was a great joy.
Yes, thank you for being with me today. And thank everyone for listening, and subscribe and tune in to our next episode of Fabulous Women Over 40. Ciao for now.
Thank you for joining us today. Please subscribe so you won't miss our next conscious conversation with Kara and her fabulous guests. Follow Kara on social, on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Clubhouse, @Kara Allan, and connect with her on her website at karaallan.com. Also, leave a review if you enjoyed the conversation. Thanks again, and see you next time.